Hi, everyone. Welcome to the How We Hustle podcast.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Tanya. And we invite you to join us in our unfiltered conversation about the real life hustle of being an entrepreneur. For more information about the podcast, check out howwehustlepodcast.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at How We Hustle Podcast, where you'll get notable quotes from our episodes and updates on live new episodes. So head over to Instagram and follow us at How We Hustle Podcast.
Okay, so today we kind of want to chat about sleep and how to get into a better sleep schedule, because I have been seeing a naturopath because I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. And I realized that likely was caused by something because there's no history of it in my family or anything like that. And so I have been seeing a naturopath, and when she discovered how terrible my sleep schedule was, she actually told me that that's the first thing that we need to address, and kind of scared me a little into how important sleep is. But for me, sleep has never really been something that I felt I needed because I never really felt tired. And when I brought that up with Mike today, he said he really struggles with sleep too. So we figured, why not talk about sleep and our schedule and what it looks like.
I think sleep for an entrepreneur in particular, someone that works, on their laptop or from home, or maybe doesn't, like if you have a 9-to-5 job, obviously you have to be at work at 9, right? Like you have to get up, even if it's like torture to get up at 7:30 so you can be at work by 9, you really have to do it. So if you have a regimented job, I think you kind of just, even if you don't have a good system in place, you just do it. Whereas me, I sometimes I'll go to bed at 4 a.m. because I'm just not sleepy. Sometimes I will, I just don't have a good system. And a lot of times I wish I did have a system. I wish I could go to bed at, my bedtime, which, you told me you have a bedtime now. And I wish I could just go to sleep at a bedtime, wake up. And then when I open my eyes in the morning, like shoot out of bed. And that's something that I've never really had. Usually when I wake up in the morning, I like to ease into like waking up, what does that mean? Usually that means like picking up my phone, or something I'll usually do is put on like a podcast or a YouTube video or something and kind of like just put it on as I'm like kind of waking up. And that's also something I do when I go to sleep, is like I've been doing it lately, is like put on a podcast or a YouTube video and just sort of like fall asleep to it, and it kind of gets me to sleep. But based on what you were saying before we started this, I think like that's not necessarily the healthiest way. So I think that as an entrepreneur, it's definitely something I struggle with, is sleep, and I would love to figure out like a system where I can get my 8 hours and just fly out of bed and not really have to think about falling asleep or waking up.
Yeah. So what I was saying before we started taping is that I have never been much of a sleeper. Even when I did have a 9-to-5, I definitely went to bed sometimes at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever, especially when I was building a business. But even when I wasn't, I never really slept. I never really felt tired. And then when I would get up, I would literally, people that share a hotel room with me have made so many comments because I set alarms from 7 until 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock every 15 minutes because I don't hear my alarm in the morning. And even when I do, I snooze it so many times. So when I went to the naturopath, she said that there are people that literally wake up without an alarm and they just pop out of bed ready for the day. And I literally thought she was crazy because I'm like, no way people just pop out of bed. But having this sleep schedule, I actually do. I wake up before my alarm every time. I never want to just lay in bed. I used to do that as well, like listen to podcasts or watch a video before and after. And I had no idea that was so weird. But the reason that I had a reason to do it now and not to say, oh, but I'm busy. Oh, but I have this thing to do. Oh, but I'm not tired, was because I actually had a health issue. So it gave me a reason that was even more than just wanting to do it. Cause I've literally put that on my list of like New Year's resolutions or like lists of things I want to do. Go to bed earlier, go to bed earlier, go to bed earlier. But no matter what I would do, I couldn't go to bed earlier. My body just didn't want to go to sleep, or like I always found something to do. So what she shared with me has completely changed my life. And they're so simple that I think it's kind of comical that it could have such a big impact. So number one, I do take melatonin. At first, I was kind of like, I wanted to be cautious about it because I've obviously heard that you can get addicted to melatonin. She wasn't quite concerned with that. She said that number one, I needed it. Number two, that she didn't think I was going to get addicted to melatonin. And apparently you can have more of it in your system. It doesn't shut off whatever melatonin you're already creating. However, at the time, I was not creating any melatonin. So I take melatonin about 3 hours, not 3 hours, 30 minutes, 30 minutes before I go to sleep. My bedtime is 12 o'clock. Technically, I'm supposed to wake up at 8. I typically do wake up at 6 to 7, somewhere in there. She also said not to set an alarm if you can. Obviously, not everybody can do that, but I did still set an alarm, even though I never have had to use it because I've always been awake before the alarm ever goes off now. But so I take a melatonin spray 30 minutes before bed, whatever the time is that you've chosen. The other things that she told me that were quite surprising, I thought, was I have a lot of lights on in my house because I like light. Like, I don't sit around in the dark. But she was saying that, I mean, we always have screens and things like that. That's fine. But if you can just turn on a lamp instead of having all the lights in your house on, it does prepare your body for sleeping. So that was a big one for me because I had so many lights on. And now I put a lamp on about an hour before I'm ready to go to bed. So I go to bed at 12. So I turn the lamp on around 11. If you wanted to go to bed, I've actually tried this. And if you turn the lights off in your house and just turn one lamp on, even earlier than that, you'll actually get tired. Even without the melatonin now, I get tired. So that was a big change. And the other one was, wait for it, Mike, because both you and I live in the city, but was having blackout curtains, which I did not get because I am super against curtains. I have glass walls for a reason. I do not like curtains. It's been a big joke with my clients because I use that as an example for some of the things in business. But I was like, absolutely not. I am not getting blackout curtains. And she said that even a little bit of light, a tiny bit of light, can stop your brain from thinking that it's time to go to sleep. So we came to a compromise, and I said that I would wear an eye mask because then I didn't have to change the entire decor of my bedroom. But even as simple as, like, sometimes I forget the eye mask, I just put a pillow over my eyes or something, like, just so that you actually don't see the light. I didn't know that was such a big deal, but again, it was really a powerful change that has made my sleep a lot better. And the last one was the obvious one, right? Not looking at your phone 30 minutes before bed. So that one I would have said would have been hard, but what I continued to do is I just put on an audiobook or a podcast that's around 30 minutes and set it up, turn it on, sit in my bed, listen to it without really looking at my phone. You can also turn the screen lights down on your phone, but if you're on your phone the entire time, then that light kind of defeats the whole purpose of having blackout curtains or an eye mask or something like that. And that's it. Like that, it can be that simple, just to have a bit of light reduction, basically, to send a signal to your brain that it's time to go to sleep now. It's time to prepare for resting. And surprisingly, it works. And so now I literally pop out of bed, like refreshed, don't want to snooze my alarm. I always wake up before it, so I wouldn't snooze it anyways. Like, I get out of bed, don't want to like linger in there and just like relax or chill or like slowly get about my day. Like, I literally just get going and start my day, which is pretty crazy.
So what has changed in your life since that, like, you've started doing
Well,
this?
now I have like 4 hours of time in the morning that I didn't have before. So at the beginning, I was like, what do people do at this time? I'm so bored. But I still listen to like something in the morning. I'll go for a workout. I will send my emails in the morning sometimes now. Sometimes I even cook or go grocery shopping.
What's that?
What do you mean? Sometimes cook?
I'm just joking.
Oh, I know. I've had
Cooking and grocery shopping.
Yeah, because that's another thing that she's changed for my hyperthyroidism is obviously my diet. So I've had to do more cooking and eating in my house with all the restrictions. So that gets me to like do something because I sometimes just feel bored. It doesn't really change the fact that like I don't want to work an extra 4 hours a day. You know, I don't work every hour of the day. So I think that finding other things to do, like going to the gym, like sending emails, like cooking, like it's weird to cook in the mornings, but I do. I like kind of set up my crock pot in the morning. Since I hate cooking, I'm not going to do it. I just put everything in a crock pot. But yeah, I have to say I've been mostly bored because I don't have a lot to do, but sometimes I'll do like some journaling or like listening to something inspirational for the morning, make some phone calls, you know, do things to entertain myself. But it was definitely a big change. The first week I was like, oh, I can't sleep in past 6. So I'm really only getting 6 hours still. I think my body's still not quite used to sleeping more than 6 hours because that would be like way above and beyond what I was sleeping before. But I feel like slowly it will start to realize, I guess, that it can sleep more than 6 hours. I have more time than that. But we'll see. I just really started it. I think it's been like a week and a half. And I have told people like, you know, this is my bedtime now. All of my clients know because I moved one of my calls that I used to do at 11 o'clock at night. I realized that it wasn't going to work at 11 o'clock at night. So I had to move a couple of calls to be earlier in the evening so that I would be able to make my bedtime. But having a very strict bedtime and actually being like open about it and saying, hey, I have a bedtime now. Like I have to go to bed at this time. So I have to be done whatever I'm doing by 11:30. I do turn the lamp on, even if I'm doing like, even before that, even if I was on a video or a call or something, I would turn the lamp on. And it does make me feel tired. That lamp alone made a big difference, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say those are the two like lifestyle things I really struggle with, and I've struggled with for a long time. And I think one leads to the other, like sleep, and then also cooking and shopping, and really like well, food is what I'm referring to. But having more control over my food, and I think part of the reason I opt for convenience when it comes to food is because I don't necessarily have like the control of my time that.
Yeah, I'm always looking for the fastest food. Like, what can I do quickly? You know, like I have a couple.
I don't necessarily mean like I eat junk food all the time, because I certainly don't. But you know, it's so much better to eat at home, and that is something that I'm trying to do more. So I was just joking when I said like what's cooking and what's grocery shopping.
Well, I mean, I never used to do that. Like I cooked. I used to say that I can't cook. Like I wouldn't even eat my food. But surprisingly, the crock pot has really helped me because I don't like cooking, number one. And I certainly don't like cooking meat. Like I don't do that. But when you just have to throw it all in and then it cooks it, and then you have that for like the next 2 to 3 days, it kind of is super easy because I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat. I think for me, the decision-making process is more the reason that I don't eat as much, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. Like I have to make a decision. I have to figure it out. Like it's too much. I don't enjoy the process of that. I'm just like, what can I eat quickly? And then now that I have these like crock pot meals, like you already know what you're going to eat. There's no decision making. You can just like get it, eat it, done, you know, finish, kaput. And it's healthy, and I don't know. The only thing is like, it takes a bit more planning, right? Like I have to plan like which day I'm getting the stuff, which day I'm putting it in the crock pot.
I think really what we're getting at here is it's really a broader conversation about being in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more systems you put in place, the better you're able to control, and really the more productivity. And that's not to say like if you give yourself an extra 4 hours, you need to work 4 more hours. But like, for example, if I could get up at 6 reliably and get to work at 8 and work every day from 8 to 12 and have the rest of the day to myself. Like that's certainly not where I'm at now. My work schedule, my work day, it's very scattered. And I will admit somewhat less productive and productive is the wrong word, less efficient and less systemized, much less systemized than is optimal. So,
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really particularly like that. Like for me, like putting in a routine like that typically makes me feel like I need to rebel, like I need to like break out of this prison that I've put myself in. And I thought that having a bedtime would make me feel like that too. They're like, ugh. And even she said to me, if your parents couldn't put you on a bedtime, like I'm sure I'm going to have a tough time myself. Now, I had a reason to do it now and a reason not to like rebel against it. But honestly, it definitely makes me feel better, but it's more so that it's just like, now it comes kind of naturally to me. And you're right. Like it does make me more productive during the day. It certainly gives me more time during the day, more productive time. And then I can kind of choose what I do in my day. And then I also have realized like I am one of those people that always has worked late at night because quote unquote, I get more creative at night. Your brain starts.
I don't really believe that when anyone says
it actually is true. I won't go into the specifics, but I've looked it up. It is true. It's because your frontal cortex gets shut off. And so then it allows your creativity to come through. But the key there is that you're not actually like, there are so many more mistakes that are happening because your frontal cortex is shut down. So basically you're making a lot more mistakes. So I think that that's what's going to happen. But now that I have this bedtime, now that I know that I'm likely not going to sit on my computer at 11 o'clock at night, because that's not going to be good for my bed schedule. I know that I need to be done my work by a specific time. So even if I wanted to work at night, which is still fine, but I have to get it done basically before 10. And that is like something I would typically never do. Ever since I was working in a 9 to 5, I always have worked at night because I don't like to waste the day sitting inside on my computer. And I never really got out of that schedule. But now that I have like a specific time that I have to be done by, it has actually made me more productive. I don't spend as many hours just sitting and looking at my computer or mindlessly surfing or mindlessly creating graphics because I know I have to be off the computer. So it kind of has set me up to like have more, like be more efficient in less time, I would say.
Yeah. So I love that. And I think there's probably something that so many people, I won't say struggle with, but they can relate to it.
Yeah, and it's more important than you think is all I can say. And it does make you feel better. I know that that's kind of like a small win, but it does make me feel better. I don't think that feeling better, because I didn't feel like I felt bad before, would have moved me in this right direction. But at the end of the day, if this is the thing, like I realized I was breaking my body down and I was suffering in other areas of my life because of that. My health was suffering, and that's kind of what got my butt into gear. So whatever is going to get your butt into gear, into setting up a sleep schedule, it's such a small shift and change, like turning on a lamp instead of having all the lights. Like if you need to, taking some melatonin, not looking at your phone or a computer screen like 30 minutes before bed, but listening instead, and shutting out like if you don't have blackout curtains like me, shutting out the, city lights that are outside of your house. Like those are not difficult things to do. And if it allows you to wake up and pop out of bed, if it allows you to wake up earlier, if it allows you to be more productive throughout your day, if it allows you to do more in less time, like who would say no to that? No.
There you go. So, I mean, I think it's worth that everyone kind of like be more aware of sort of the little things that maybe it can be optimized. I won't say that tell people what to do, but I certainly am gonna like. It's something it's been on my mind lately. I even like wrote down a list of things I want to to accomplish recently. And part of it was sleep 8 hours a day and get up when I wake up. And I've been a little bit slacking on that. So I need to
try it out tonight. And try it out tonight. See if it helps you. Like, see how you wake up. You know, if it doesn't help you, it doesn't help you. But I mean, these things are pretty much free to do, and it doesn't hurt to try it one time. Like, I think it only took one time for me to be like, whoa, that was really good. At first, I also had like a lot of weird dreams, because I typically always tell people I don't dream. And I started having like lots of dreams, and I'd be like, whoa, I don't know if I like this whole dreaming thing. But I still don't know if I like the whole dreaming thing. That kind of creeps me out. Like, it used to happen to me like maybe once a year. And like having more dreams is like not always fun. And sometimes I'm like, what the? When I wake up, I was like, what was that about? But yeah, if it makes you like wake up and pop out of bed, refreshed, ready for the day, it can be worth it.
And that's a wrap on another episode of How We Hustle. For more information, check out howwehustlepodcast.com.